Hello, and welcome to channel of Paradim blog, where I search into contents about how we can keep our values in life, do things the right way without relying on shortcuts, and live a quality working life. First file of contents deals with basics of leadership, and its first chapter is entitled Towards a New Paradigm. This video is a brief preview of the topic. Leadership. A term and a concept that we all know. We all have heard of it, and we all are in touch with it in this way or another. Sometimes we work with a leader, and at other times we act as one. Leadership is not only limited to work setting, but happens in various forms. In its most basic form, it is an act of motivating and directing people towards a certain result, and therefore exists in every community, and in many activities we do. In part, this means that it is a topic for everyone, but another part is that it is a topic with many self-declared experts. Many aspire to be leaders, but they rarely learn about what leadership actually is and how it is supposed to be done. This led us to develop many unsuitable ways and create unsuitable models in practice. It made us to learn truths that are fundamentally untrue, and we've come to a challenge to relearn the basics of leadership. I've once came across a finding that only about 10 to 15% of practitioners trust knowledge created by leadership science. An author continued to claim that most leaders draw their leadership knowledge from fabulas, from stories depicted in movies or books, and practices of their predecessors. Leadership has therefore become a very arbitrary activity instead of having a more clear definition, and as well a clear role in an organization. That is what contemporary theories are providing, and that is what we are going to look into. A scientific field of leadership is one of the most researched in the last few decades. Leadership is defined either as a role, a function in organization, as a process, and as a relationship. It was looked into from various perspectives, and progress in our understanding of this construct has been substantial. There are several reasons for a high level of interest generated, but two can be highlighted. Number 1. Leadership as a relationship is the fundamental working relationships. And number 2. Leadership in practice is in need of significant, even radical change. Let's look at both points in a little more detail. Theory categorized individuals who are part of an organization into two general categories: leaders and followers. The term follower derives from a traditional understanding of that role. We could say it is a little more appropriate in traditional notion of leadership, where it is assumed that a leader, to say, is cut from a different cloth, somehow special, and a powerful decision maker, while others merely follow. Today, this conception has changed, which will be presented in bits and pieces throughout posts on this blog. In a light of nowadays understanding, I prefer to refer to them simply as leaders' colleagues. Followers can play different roles in an organization, ranging from passive to active, and from non-critical to critical. For example, one extreme or pole means waiting for tasks and carrying them out, while the other means looking for problems and solving them on one's own initiative. One pole may mean doing things that go against our beliefs, our values, and essentially means working against oneself, while the other may mean testing one's own ideas and essentially being on a path of self-exploration and self-fulfillment. At one pole, we learn obedience, and at the other, we learn decision-making and independence. Not only professionally, but also personally. Relationship with our leader is a fundamental relationship. It is one that significantly defines our working environment and our working life, our personal development, personal balance, and more. As a society, we set ourselves the so-called millennial and sustainable development goals. Those encompass notions like inclusion, equality, and fairness. As individuals, we increasingly value a balanced life, health, joy of working with purpose and meaning, personal progress and fulfillment of personal goals. Traditional approach to leadership works in many ways in the opposite direction to those newly founded expectations and societal goals as well. This has led to extensive research and work on examples and models of leadership that eventually not only better meet the new objectives of society and individuals, but also enable us to deliver better business and economic results, capitalizing on elevated motivation levels that new approaches bring. If we want to achieve these new results and build better working environments, we need to start recognizing that certain leadership models and practices that are in place are from a different time and need to be radically changed. It is time to move beyond these patterns, set new rules, and start looking towards new examples. Recordings in this chapter will draw its content from leadership theory, specifically the so-called new paradigm of leadership. A term paradigm, simply put, means a shared way of perceiving or understanding a certain content. Role of the leader used to be understood differently than it is or than it should be today. A leader is not expected to have all the answers or to bear all the responsibility, but rather to make sure the answers are being searched for and that each member bears his or her share of that, possibly quite heavy burden of responsibility. We will look into what a leader should do for a group differently today than what was true before. When an opinion starts to penetrate and replace the previous one, we can say that a new paradigm is entering a society. The writings will not give prescriptions, because good, quality leadership or followership has little to none to do with these. They will focus on explanations. What is important is learning and understanding, knowledge and awareness. And as one learns and grows, well then the world grows.